Okay, so today, guys, we're going to be finishing the bottom part of our story, the conclusion, or the ending, or the resolution. All right, so this is the bottom bun here. Okay, we did our top bun, which was the beginning. We filled in the middle, right, with all of our setting, our characters, our conflict, our problem, our climax. And now we're into our conclusion. And conclusion is how the story finishes up, or what the resolution was to the story. So the story that you write should have a good ending that satisfies your reader. Okay, just like if you eat a nice big sandwich, you should feel satisfied. Okay, I'm going to also write the word resolution. How many of you know the word, and please don't shout out, but how many of you know the word resolution? Okay, so about half of you. If you resolve something, it means you solve it. So the conclusion of your story, you're going to be telling us how your problem was solved. All right? So you had this problem. You kind of showed us what happened to figure out what you're going to do next. And then the problem just, you work on it. You work on it in the story. But then eventually it's solved. Okay? So in the Sophie books we're reading, doesn't Sophie always come up with some sort of solution or resolution? So the word solution is in there because it has to do with solving problems. Okay, you might hear the word conflict resolution. Okay, that means if you're having a problem, like with a friend or somebody, and you learn how to fix the conflict, you learn how to resolve it, or you learn how to make solutions to it. This is the same thing here. So this part of your story really satisfies your reader because your reader's not wondering, well, I wonder what's going to happen next. Although, if you're going to write a part 2 or part 3 to your story, you might leave a little bit of a cliffhanger, not to this problem, because this problem you should really solve in your story. But you might say everything worked out great. So like in the case of Sophie, everything worked out whichever way, usually some sort of good solution, right? With the birthday present, for example. But then she decides she doesn't want to be Sophie the Snoop anymore. She wants to be Sophie the Daredevil, or Sophie the Zillionaire, because she found money. So it leads us into wondering what will happen next because it's a series. But in this case, could you please put that down? Thank you. In this case, we want to finish it up so our reader is satisfied. And you will see in the next few chapters at the end of this Sophie book, that's it for the Sophie series. So hopefully it's resolved to our happiness. Okay, it's resolved to our satisfaction. So this part of the story finishes it. And you should feel like, whew, that was a good story when you get done reading it. Not like, what happens next? Because that's kind of how you should feel after the climax. Like, oh my gosh, what's the resolution? How do we solve it? All right? So you're going to be working on that in your story. You're going to make sure your story has actually a conclusion. Some sort of ending that's going to satisfy your readers.